What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I have a brand new awesome thing for you to check out that currently, just under an hour ago, launched on Kickstarter, and that is Amazing Encounters and Places Volume 1. This is an awesome tool for your toolbox as a dungeon master to provide you with a bunch of interesting locations, a ton of encounters, amazing amount of maps that even phase through different things like rain and sun and snow and things like that. And they could be run as one-shot encounters, they could be run as drop-in encounters in a campaign, or there even is an optional overarching plot if you'd like to sort of turn them into a mini-campaign. And as I've said many times, whatever I can do to lessen my prep as a game master, to take ideas and formulate them into an encounter, or something that I can do to make my life easier so that I can focus more on the aspects of running the game that I like, because ultimately I think that's what it all comes down to. If you like creating magic items or fun NPCs, focus on that and utilize the tools and things out there that are available for us to make our lives easier. So let's go ahead and take a look. By the way, I will say thank you to the Amazing Encounters team for sponsoring this video. There will be a link at the top of the video description as well as a pinned comment. And you can see here, yeah, it literally just launched. It is coming up on $2,000 out of an estimated about $10,000 or so with about 29 days left to go. So we can scroll down. There's also an exclusive reward for those who back on day one, which is a brand new encounter or adventure that's scalable from level 2 all the way up to level 20. And that's something I will say is also rampant throughout all of the stuff here. They are scalable for the different tiers of play, which is great because you could also have this in your back pocket and you might use it for one group when they're playing at level 3, and you might even technically be able to recycle this depending on how creative you get and use it again when they're level 17, and things will obviously just be different and scaled otherwise. But if you back by 12 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, the 27th, so before then, you'll get The Hunt, which is a short adventure or a long encounter, again, scalable from 1 to 20. And it says the Ever Hungry is an alien-like creature which takes pleasure in hunting. Does your party have what it takes to turn the table and bring down this hunter? So depending on how you want to run this, you can kind of see it's this cool-looking creature here. I think it also could be fun to sort of reskin this creature as sort of like a Predator, Yautja-style alien, right? In a different way rather than hunt. You know, it's all about hunting. So that could work. But it's for a couple of different backer tiers, and it says right here, anybody who backs at the pledge tier of either weak currency countries, PDF only, PDF and digital maps, or the online experience, or any of the hardcover ones. That's most of the tiers for backing, which we will get into and discuss in a little bit. So let's talk about the book itself. There is also, I should say, a free preview that basically gives you one of the entire locations, the Sky Isles, and get this, even the preview has bookmarks. People put out full-blown PDFs without bookmarks in them. This preview PDF has them. Get the bookmarks in your PDFs, folks. So here you can see there are 8 drop-in locations, 2 for each of the following terrain types: coast, forest, mountain, and swamp. The one we have, the Sky Isles, is a mountain one, and then a regional overarching map for all of them. 6, again, standalone encounters per location. That's what I was talking about. Once again, those are scalable. You'll see kind of slash marks, and I'll show you what that looks like in the preview. That, you know, you'll see basically 4 numbers separated by a slash, and that's showing you for tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4 what the DC should be, the number of monsters, treasure rewards, things like that. And then again, what I also really like is the optional overarching plot that you can tie all of the different encounters together to turn them into sort of like a mini campaign or you know, even a long-running campaign in theory. And then, yeah, you see there's 64 maps, but it says 300 plus versions, and we'll talk about that as well. So, all right, moving on. It says why Volume 1, as well as they're saying if it does very well, which I do think it will, they might roll into a Volume 2 at some point. So you can click right here to get the sample, which we'll go through in just a little bit. And then again, they'll show you, here's a little breakdown of how the different pages work, the map, the lore, the overarching plot, the encounter overview, and then a bunch of custom monsters included in there as well. There also will be, in the future product, magic items, 12 plus new magic items as well. And then again, here's it showing the independent encounters and how to run those, which is not something that I thought I would have needed, but it's nice to have, right? So here's how all of the different locations of everything work. So if you want to just take a quick glance And then again, the optional adventure. But here you can see realistic maps. You can get up to 64 unique maps, over 300 versions of variations, including sunny, rain, night, tree transparency, all gridded and gridless. This is obviously if you're planning to use this in a virtual tabletop, though you could obviously just use this on your own form of digital tabletop, but there is also a tier to get these printed in physical tiles for the maps if you want to go that way. So here are the different locations. We have the Sunken Shore, which is a coastline. Again, it says, come across this long stretch of coast where pirates and monsters dwell. The Singing Grove, which is a forest encounter. Stunning and perilous grove, home to harpies, lizard folk, and a bunch of unholy undead. We have the Sky Isles, which is sort of the mountainous. You can kind of see it here that we have the preview for. It's kind of all based around a monastery. We have the Sarsben's Lowlands, which is a swamp. Fens, marshes, and morasses of a multitude of colors house the most incredible and sinister stories and creatures, such as mud wolves and soaring owl bears. That sounds like a flying owl bear, which is terrifying. The Bountiful Strand, which is another coastline here, proper, for treasure hunters and the like. The Alabaster Fangs, which is a more traditional mountain, whereas the Sky Isles is a lot of floating rocks. This is a more traditional mountain with, potential caves and things. We have the Restless Bog, which is a swamp. Once again, it says a gargantuan mudworm devours travelers. To cultists, adorers, cultist giant adorers of eldritch beings, all in check by an ancient gold dragon. And then the potential for a special guest forest location, which they are listing some of these special guests, which some of them should ring bells when we scroll down and look at those. So let's talk about the pledge tiers, right? So for £15, by the way, it is it's a British company, so we're looking at pounds here. So £15 gets you the PDF only, which will get you the full PDF and a shard virtual tabletop version. For $35, you will get the PDF, a hardcover version of the book itself, and the shard virtual tabletop version. That was for £35. For £36, you'll get the PDF, all of the 64 different digital maps with all their different versions, again with the shard version as well. For £50, you'll get the hardcover PDF, or the hardcover, the PDF, the digital maps, and the shard. £60 will get you the full online experience, which is all the PDF, all content in Scabbard RPG Campaign Manager, which I don't even know what Scabbard RPG Campaign Manager is, which is probably something I should learn about so I can make a video on it. And then £110 is the Amazing Experience, which in my mind is probably the one that when I back, I'll probably back at that level, which is because it's going to get me the PDF, which always nice to have as a reference. The hardcover book, I like to have the physical products whenever I have for D&D stuff, but it also gives us the physical maps, as well as the digital maps, and then again, the shard tabletop version. And then again, we can scroll through here and see the variety of different pledges there. We already talked about those, but there are limited numbers on some of these. So we had the Amazing Experience. There is also the Ultimate Experience, which there is only 3, which we can scroll down over here on this side and see there is some early birds, it looks like, as well, so you may want to jump in. But the Ultimate Experience, everything, the PDF and the hardcover, all the maps. In addition, all of the above, you get to work with a cartographer and a project lead on your very own exclusive customized map. It must be related within the theme of the product and be up to 60 by 60 squares in size. So there is, there's already one has already been taken. So again, this is only, £60 more than the one that'll get you all of the physical stuff. And if you're working to or looking to have a map or something in your own game, perhaps that's a level you want to back at so that you can get this custom map made, and then you'll be able to get a physical printed version of it as well in the future. Now, there are a couple of add-ons for additional location map packs. You can see this here, right? Amazing location printed map pack, but then there's just additional forest maps where you get 10 unique maps for explorations in forests, including 90 different versions of those, as well as mountains, coast, and swamp. So you can just get additional maps if you so choose. Again, if you want to just get the PDF and then just get the maps, that's a way you can go about that as well. And then here's a little bit about the shipping of it. And then let's keep going so we can get a good look. We can see some of the stats behind CAZ RPG to get you an idea of what they've done in the past. Here's the team that's involved, but I wanted to get to you to talk about the special guests. We have Anne Gregerson, who you may remember from some of the Kickstarters we've covered in the past. I'm just going through names that jump out at me. Well, Hal Howard is the chief creator at Shard Tabletop. Ginny Loveday, Joshua Parry, Trevor Armstrong. A lot of these are folks that I recognize and have done worked with in some way or another, whether it be via Kickstarter or the DMs Guild. And there is a planned virtual tabletop support. It says we'll provide VTT ready maps in addition to the PNG files, as well as the content. This is so you can use them on your virtual tabletop of choice, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, or Roll20, and that will be at an ultimate £20, 20,000 pounds raised. Sorry. And then again, we can scroll down. There's just a little bit more about what's going on there. But the planned delivery for this is April 2022. So why don't we go ahead and pull open the PDF and take a look. So you can see right here, I'll zoom in so we can see it a little bit better. But here it is, the overarching plot, the different encounters. And here's what I wanted to show you about the scaling, right? It says, anytime you see numbers separated by a slash, it's to cover the different tiers. So you might see, again, it's a DC 12 for a tier 1 encounter, but it's a DC 18 for a tier 4 encounter. The monsters have 2 hit points for a tier 1, 8 hit points for a tier 4, the gold rewards as well. So we'll just keep going down here. So we can see, again, the Sky Isles. Recommended, it says it's recommended to be run at tier 3. But again, you can choose to adjust that as you want. And you can see here there is sort of a monastery in the clouds vibe here. And that's kind of what a lot of the focus is around. They also have a winged leopard, which I also really like the art of this because they chose to give the leopard a beak as opposed to it just being a cat with wings. And this is a challenge rating 2 creature right here. Magic resistance as well as keen senses. The pounce ability, kind of like a lion. Also has flyby, very cool. Multi-attack, 1 beak, 1 claw. And then it also has paralyzing sting, which does a d4 plus 3 piercing damage. And they must make a constitution saving throw or become paralyzed. A little bit of a bummer. I get why it's a monstrosity. A little bit of a bummer because I would have loved for it to be a beast so that it would be accessible for certain classes that can summon things, or maybe as an option for a wild shaping druid. But either way. And then we can see there's a variety of different stat blocks for the goers and people involved in the monastery. Here's the monk apprentice, the phoenix monk. And then we can scroll down, we'll see more, right? Phoenix fire palm, phoenix mage. We also do have the updated stat blocks that are reminiscent of the new stuff that we're seeing from Wizards of the Coast, where spellcasting is listed in the action, within the actions. Similar, again, to like what we're seeing from the updates from WotC, which is nice to see people adapting so quickly to using what we're all going to become accustomed to in the future here. All right, moving on. And we can see here some art. And here is the Master Phoenix Monk, which is a pretty cool challenge rating 16 NPC here. With legendary resistance, basically all of the abilities you'd have of a typical monk. Unarmed defenses, key empowered strikes. We have our unarmed strikes, but these do 2d10 plus 5 bludgeoning plus 4d10 fire. We have some quarterstaff. We have a devastating fire strike, which is 4d10 plus 5 bludgeoning plus 4d10 fire. The creature subjected to this must make a constitution saving throw. On a failure, they take double damage. We also have fire channeling, a ranged attack that does 4d10 fire damage. We also have the paralyzing dart here. Deflect missiles, parry. We also have, we can make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action, essentially giving us flurry of blows, but without needing to use key points to manage it. And then take the dodge, disengage, or dash action. And then we also have legendary actions, of which they have 3. Some movement, some attacks to do stunning strike, and then also to just recharge their devastating fire strike ability. Very cool stuff. It'd be definitely something you wouldn't want to mess with. So here is our sort of regional map that we saw, where we can kind of see all of the different, here's like the main, you have the monastery, and then all of the different little floating islands. And the overarching encounter here is called the Re-Encounter, which is all about a demon, right? So it's a Baneko, I guess, who destroyed the Phoenix Monks. It's a demon who destroyed the Phoenix Monks monastery centuries ago. Has grown bored in recent years. Remembering the pleasure it experienced in divination, it's decided to fight the monks again. Using its fiendish ties, it can't take Can't take long to learn. It learns the monk's location, and then again, it's still struggling to make its way there. And that's kind of the overarching theme that we'll see in the various encounters. So here they are, as you can see, the way up, the skywalk, a sight for sore eyes, show some respect, the hunt, the test of truth, and the fiery incantation. So we have a little description on what each of them are. Playful winged leopards perched atop earth moats. No room for weakness. What type of encounter it is, exploration, combat, or social, and then the physical location of it. So I think, why don't we take a look through the way up, because I like the winged leopards a lot, and them being perched atop earth moats sounds fun. So we can see it right here, exploration and combat. Encounter overview. While exploring a mountaintop, the party notices earth moats that had been hidden by the clouds. Perched atop these floating rocks are beautiful winged leopards, who watch the party and act as if they want to play with the characters. So it says the earth moats that lead to the sky isles are usually hidden from sight by thick clouds, only becoming visible on rare occasions when strong winds blow the clouds away. The Phoenix monks raise the winged leopards to be their mounts, but also to allow them a lot of freedom to roam around. They love exploring and playing. They're cats, right? They're cat birds, so they're basically going to want to be playful and explore. So it says overarching plot. Alternatively, the beasts have been instructed to attract possible travelers to Neverdark, as Caden assumes that whoever manages to reach the Sky Isles should be great candidates for a role in the incantation. Again, if you want to make it part of this, or if you just want to run it as a standalone, you can leave that apart. So we have some box text here as well. The clouds that surrounded the peak you've climbed are blown away by a strong wind, revealing several flying rocks covered with lush vegetation. A flock of birds takes off from one of them, and on another you notice a couple of large winged leopards. Their yellow fur shining in the sunlight. They are staring at you. Their tails wave above their head. They wave their tails up once, pause, and start waving them up and down. And it says there's some checks you can make as we scroll down. It says a successful, and again here we can see 11, 13, 15, or 17 nature check reveals that they're happy. Perception check, notice the earth moats that are connected by various ropes. And an animal handling check allows the characters to gain their trust, allowing them to get close. It says the creatures stick around until the party approaches them. If they don't, they fly towards the party. After a few attempts to interact, the winged leopards fly into the clouds among the earth moats. And it looks like, and it says if you make a nature check, you can see the way they flew up. It's looked like they're already heading up to the top of the mountain. And then since they are a monstrosity, any beast-related spell such as animal friendship will fail. Again, kind of a bummer, but I understand it. And then we can see the chase. Assuming the creatures pique the party's interest, they're basically wanting you to follow them and play chase. They're, again, being playful cats. So navigating the earth moats is not an easy task, but the Phoenix monks have made it easier by attaching ropes. So it says the party reaches, a success is the party reaches the top earth moat, marked as J on the map. Conditions succeeding 4 times in their group checks before failing 3 times. If half the group meets the DC, it counts as a success. On a failure, one character falls. You can randomly determine which one or pick the one that makes the most sense given the situation. And then condition, failing 3 group checks before reaching the 4th success. We can see the DCs there. And it gives us a bunch of options for skills, athletics, acrobatics, perception, or nature. And a group check, it says, is a success on a group check means that the party used their own abilities, skills, and knowledge to help each other to reach higher moats. A failure means the party struggled and didn't progress. If a character falls, one of the winged leopards dives to save them, carrying them up the bridge to the skywalk that leads to Neverdark, and waits with the character for the rest of the party to catch up. So there actually is no risk for failure, but you don't need to let the party know that. And it says, alternatively, if you prefer to run this as a more visual and direct way, the map below can help you. The platform on the southwest corner is the mountaintop and is considered ground zero for height calculation purposes. While moats are floating, the winged leopards will wait at moat J. And it says, climb rope. While these could potentially help save time, some of the ropes are set in dangerous locations where a mistake could mean a fatal fall. Climbing such ropes is also more difficult. Climbing such ropes requires certain checks in athletics. And then it says there are suspended ropes which could also be climbed, but they will require subsequent checks as well. And if we scroll down, we should. The next page here is the map. So we kind of start at ground zero here, and then you can see you could make your ways along, and you can see the different distances. And then eventually they're going to wait over here at Moat J. And if we jump back up to read the encounter here, which says, at any point during the climb, the winged leopards and the party can be attacked by flying enemies. Check the group's composition in the table below. So we have the various tiers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the level range of the parties within those tiers, and what creatures should attack them. Anywhere from a singular manticore If they're first level, it says remove multi-attack. So even got scalable encounters within the scalable encounters. Then we can have a Chimera and a Manticore, some Chimeras, or an adult or several adult blue dragons, depending on it. Fighting an adult blue dragon on this like flying rock structure just seems like it would be amazing. Their focus is the winged leopards, which will defend themselves, but the attackers will engage the characters. So it looks like these creatures are attacking the leopards, so if your party who doesn't want the little sky kitties to die, they're probably going to want to step in and help them. The leopard, if the party helps the winged leopards, they are thankful and will allow the characters to mount them. The leopards won't become their companions, though, and will only allow a character to ride them until they reach Neverdark. And it says some of the possible encounters are listed here. The group ignores the winged leopards. The party attempts to follow them, succeeding in reaching the top moat. The party attempts to follow them, failing to reach the top without help, and the adventurers fight off the threat, saving the winged leopards. And it says again, reward XP as you normally would. If they reach the top on their own, award the group with XP for a hard encounter. And there you go. That is one of the encounters, like I said. There are a bunch in here we can go through. We just read one of the first ones. That was fun. Here's, again, you can see some additional maps as we scroll through here. Again, this is also available to anybody for free if you'd like to take a look at this. Maybe even play test this, run your players through it before you decide if you want to back and see what you like. If you think things work well, then go ahead and back it and you'll have access to more of these. Not much, you can't argue with throwing out a 46-page free PDF with bookmarks for folks to use just to, show them the confidence you have behind your product. So a huge shout out once again and a thank you to the folks behind the Amazing Encounters in Places Volume 1 Kickstarter. Like I said, there'll be links in the description if you'd like to go and back this for yourself. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And, they covered a large different amount of types of encounters you would have and locations. But let me know in the comments, is there a location that you wish they had covered? Perhaps that'll give them an idea for what they should do when it comes to Volume 2. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.